I'm feeling spicy, so here's my hot take of the day. All white people are racist. Every single last one of them, all of them are racist. And I don't mean that to say like every single individual white person, if I talk to you, you would have some kind of racist ideology.
Do people like her see how racist they actually are? She just assumed something about a group of people based on their skin color. All white people, just like all black people, are very different individuals who have different lives, jobs, interests, and even cultures, and somehow she thinks that all these people have one thing in common, which is racism. But at least you can see from a mile away that her face matches her opinion.
I'm saying that as a white person, you uphold a system of racism by literally just being white. I believe if you're not spending your literal entire life dismantling racism, then you're contributing to its continuation. And people get so like, whenever like I say like people are racist, like why is it such a big deal? Like, yes, you're racist. Like, okay, we've established that. Now what are you going to do to change it? Racism refers to power and race. If you are the powerful race in a society, then you're fucking racist. Like, I just don't understand why it's so taboo. Let's talk about it. Let's accept it so that we can work towards changing it. We're never going to get anywhere if people won't just fucking acknowledge it in the first place.
Okay, so she just assumed something about an entire race of people, but you can't call her out because that would mean that you're a racist because you don't accept her viewpoint. Man, these people are exhausting. I'm not sure where she even got this ideology from. Maybe she got hurt by some white man who didn't want to date her or something like that. Or maybe her school or university teaches critical race theory, which is just an excuse to be racist against white people. Not sure which one it is. But let's take a step back for a second. If the only thing she thinks and talks about is racism, where exactly does that get her in life? And she expects every white person out there to be like her, a miserable person that always tries to be the victim and can never accept responsibility. What if everyone was like her? We as a species wouldn't get anywhere. There will always be someone who victimizes themselves more than you. Why are we turning this into a competition? Also, I feel like she doesn't actually understand what racism is. Because being the more powerful race in a society does not make you racist. If the majority of society is white, but there are no laws preventing other races from being a member of that society, then explain to me where the racism is. Nobody is discriminating against you because of your race. They probably do it because of your weird mental illness, colored hair, and insanely harmful worldviews.
Hi there, you must be new to my account. I say white to remind people that white supremacy is everywhere. Because in order for true equality to happen, white supremacy has to be dismantled. And a lot of people are not even aware of their use of whiteness unless someone like me points it out by calling it white. In your case, you as a white woman telling an Asian woman how to speak on her account is a pretty white privileged mindset. Because I would have never thought to go to your account and say, hey, your face is really annoying. You should change your profile photo. I would never say that to you. Like, that would have never crossed my mind. Like, who am I to tell you that? And you should have awareness of your actions. You as a white woman telling me how to speak is tone policing. And that's a behavior that's very common among white women. You may have not intended that, but there are many white women who act exactly like you. So that's why I say white, to raise your awareness, because it's so ingrained in you, you may not realize it. And maybe next time when you're about to do the very same thing, my annoying white will ring in your ear and stop you. So you're welcome.
Tell me you are a privileged single Asian woman without telling me. How can someone be so obnoxious? She makes this weird sound every time she mentions a whole race of people. Call me crazy, but I think that doing that is pretty racist. To me, it shows her racial prejudice and intolerance. Also, she said that a white woman telling an Asian woman to stop doing this sound is tone policing. Like, come on, if a white woman did the same thing to, let's say, a black woman, she would get canceled and fired from her job. She would lose everything. Because that would be considered racist. But we are so divided that people don't even notice this. Now this next video will be on the topic of my last one. I found this clip after I finished editing the last video and had to include it in this one. Also, if you haven't watched the last video, you can click the card above to watch it. I think it's definitely worth it.
Okay, so first of all, I will say that the process, the journey is ongoing and probably will be for potentially her entire life. But here's how it started. So she was designated, assigned, observed male at birth. And until about 18 months, didn't really, know too much, just kind of was raising 2 kids, working full time, not really paying attention to what was going on. And at around 18 months, she started showing signs of like really being interested in things that her sister had and had in her closet, and wanting to play dress up and wanting to put on lip gloss. And when she would see fingernails, she would want her fingernails painted too. And, we thought it was cute. No issue. We had no issue with, her wanting to do those kinds of things. And then around the age of 2, things started to progress at a quicker pace. And so each time that we would go to pick her up from preschool, she was fully outfitted in dresses and jewelry. And so I will say I was super stoked that we had such a wonderful childcare center that she was in, because she was allowed to, experiment with her gender and play dress up and do those kinds of things and have access to them. So when I would go to pick her up from preschool, like I said, she would be dripping in, just jewelry and clicky shoes and all kinds of stuff. And getting her to take that off to go home was usually a pretty gnarly struggle. And then around the age of 4, she started wanting to wear like leggings and headbands. She had this one headband she was completely attached to that she felt, I look back on it now and think to myself, gosh, I wonder when she put that headband on, she thought to herself, people see me for who I am. No one's going to misgender me now.
In the beginning of the clip, she talks about the transition of her kid like it's some type of weekend hobby or an accessory. Woman, the kid you're mutilating is a living, breathing human being. God, this world is so lost. This poor boy is now being transitioned into a girl, and his mom already forced she and her pronouns onto him, just because at 18 months old he played with his sister's girl toys. Give me a break. Please, someone take this kid away. This is abuse. There is no other way to call it. This child doesn't even understand the world. Probably can't even speak yet. But him seeing his older sister as a role model and mimicking her suddenly means that he is trans. And if this was not enough, the child care center is also enabling this behavior. They dress up this poor boy to look like a girl, and mom is completely okay with it. And let me remind you, this all happened at age 2, which by definition is a toddler. Also, one more thing I noticed is that she didn't mention even one valid reason why she thinks her 2-year-old kid is trans. She listed a ton of gender stereotypes, like clothes, jewelry, colors, and things that don't make it okay to turn your kid into the opposite gender. Not that there could be valid reasons to transition a toddler, but you know what I mean.